Dear Libra soul, if no one has told you yet today, allow me to be the first. You are a spiritual millionaire and you don't even know it yet. But I promise, by the time this message completes its sacred path to your ears, something deep within you will remember. This isn't just another horoscope. This is a divine reminder delivered in perfect timing that you are standing at the threshold of something much bigger than your current life can explain. Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot, a channel created for seekers like you. Here, we don't just interpret stars. We translate the language of your soul. And today, Libra, the universe has chosen you for something sacred. Think about it for a second. What brought you here, right now, in this exact moment? Why this video? Why now? I believe it's because your spirit is tired of waiting for permission. Because for too long, you've been the peacekeeper. The silent supporter. The invisible strength behind everyone else's victories. You've kept the scales balanced at your own expense. But now, the energy shifts. This week, specifically on December 21st and 22, NDA window opens. One that only a few will notice. And even fewer will answer. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. But it's life-changing. And I believe you were guided here to hear this. You no longer need to prove yourself to deserve abundance. You've earned it energetically through every act of grace, every hard choice, every silent sacrifice. And now, heaven whispers, it's time. This message is your confirmation. So I want to ask you, Libra, can you feel the edge of this transformation pressing against your heart? Even if you can't fully explain why. You may have sensed it already, strange dreams about old places or familiar faces. Recurring numbers like 888, 111, or 2121. A heavy, inexplicable pull towards something greater. That's not your imagination. That's alignment. And if you've ever prayed quietly, please, just give me one clear sign, then let this be it. Stay with me through this entire video, because the revelations ahead are not random. They are sacred. This message will meet you where you are and gently carry you into the version of yourself that no longer needs to beg for blessings, but finally begins to receive them with open palms and a healed heart. And before we go any further, I want to pause and say, thank you. For being here. For bringing your energy, your openness, your silent courage. Every comment, every like, every subscriber doesn't just grow this channel. It deepens our connection. It brings you closer to the soul family you may not have known you needed but are now part of. Your support allows Zodiac Whisper Tarot to continue delivering these transformative messages every week. And for that, I am truly, deeply grateful. Now, Libra, tell me something. What have you been feeling lately that drew you here? Have you noticed the signs? Has your intuition been louder than usual? Comment below with the words, I am a spiritual millionaire and I am ready to receive. Let that be your affirmation. Your signal to the universe that you're open, available, and aware. Because the rest of this video? It's going to unlock something you didn't know was waiting for you. And trust me, you're going to want to see it through to the end. Let's begin. There's a subtle turning point unfolding within you, Libra, not the kind that explodes into your life with loud drama or immediate reward, but the quiet kind, the sacred kind, the one that reshapes everything from the inside out. And if you're still watching this message, it means something inside of you is already shifting, responding to a truth that has waited patiently for you to be ready. You've spent years embodying grace. You've been the one who held the peace in family conflict, who swallowed your truth to keep the balance, who dimmed your needs for the sake of someone else's comfort. But let's be honest, peace at the cost of your own alignment is not peace at all. It's postponement. It's depletion. And even though you may have accepted this way of being as noble, the deeper truth is emerging now. You were never meant to live in fragments. This week, you may not see fireworks in the sky. You may not receive a check in the mail just yet. But you will notice something. Something small, but undeniably sacred. A conversation that shakes something loose in your chest. A sentence from a stranger that seems to pierce right through your mask. A scent that takes you back to a memory you thought you'd forgotten. These are not coincidences. They're spiritual timestamps. Proof that your soul is waking up to its full inheritance. And what is that inheritance, Libra? It's not just money. Though yes, abundance is your birthright and it is coming closer now. But what's returning first is your authority to choose, your clarity to discern, and your courage to receive. For years, you gave without question. You offered your heart without boundaries. You forgave even before you were ready. But the universe isn't asking you to prove your worth anymore. It's asking you to remember it. This remembering is quiet. It doesn't demand a stage. It happens in the kitchen when you pause and smile at your reflection without judgment. It happens when you finally say no without guilt, a yes without delay. It happens when you trust that if something falls away, it's not punishment, it's permission for something better to take its place. There's a sacred kind of healing taking place here, one that doesn't need a miracle in the sky to be valid. Sometimes, the miracle is the fact that you woke up today and chose not to shrink. That's holy. And in that holiness, your life begins to rearrange itself in your favor, not because you begged for change, but because you finally stopped resisting who you are. If you've grown up believing that blessings are rare, that good things come at great cost, or that you must suffer before you're allowed to be happy, let me offer you something gentler. There are blessings that come softly, that arrive without pain, that don't need you to bleed to be real. You don't have to lose everything to deserve something. You don't need to break to be reborn. Sometimes, grace looks like simply allowing yourself to rise without explanation. And I know, in a world that glorifies hustle and struggle, that idea may feel strange. But the most profound transformations don't always shout. Some of them whisper. They arrive like a candle lighting a dark room slowly, steadily, beautifully. And that's what's happening for you right now, Libra. Let that truth settle gently inside you. You are not small. You are not behind. You are not invisible. You are exactly where you need to be. And life isn't punishing you, it's preparing to hand you the keys to a future that fits the version of you that no longer settles. So, if you've been praying for a sign, let this be it. Your soul is no longer in waiting. It's in awakening. And everything that once felt out of reach is now within arm's length. There are moments in life when the stars align not with loud declarations but with quiet confirmations. And this is one of them, Libra. What's happening in your chart right now isn't just about planets moving, it's about you remembering your worth without apology. Venus, your ruling planet, has slowly been detaching from the restrictive grip of Saturn. For months, maybe even years, it felt like love had to be earned, value had to be proven, and rest had to be justified. But this new celestial rhythm is whispering something softer, something more liberating. You don't need to ask permission anymore. This isn't about rebellion, it's about restoration. Saturn taught you boundaries. Venus reminds you of beauty, softness, and the sacred act of receiving. And now, as the heaviness lifts, what remains is a truth you've always carried but rarely claimed. You were never created to be last in line for your own blessings. You are no longer in training for love, for joy, for abundance. You are in arrival. At the same time, the North Node, the compass of soul evolutionists, lighting up the sector of your chart connected to personal value, and that's no coincidence. It's like a divine invitation being hand-delivered to you, urging you to stop playing the role of the supportive background and instead step into the quiet authority of your own leadership. Not the kind of leadership that shouts or demands, but the kind that walks into a room and shifts the energy simply by existing. You've always had that gift, but now it's time to trust it. The cards echo this transformation. The Empress appears first, in all her luminous power, a reminder that true prosperity isn't forced, it's birthed. She represents what you've already seeded in silence, acts of kindness no one saw, prayers you whispered at night, intentions you held even when no evidence supported them. The Empress doesn't ask for proof, she knows her season of harvest comes. And Libra, yours is here. But with this harvest comes a gentle warning. The Seven of Swords enters not to scare you, but to sharpen your discernment. When your light grows, others may be drawn to it, not all with pure intentions. Some may lean on your energy without giving anything back. This card reminds you that it's okay to pause, to observe, and to keep certain things sacred until you're ready. You don't owe explanations to those who haven't earned your vulnerability. Your silence can be your strength. Then comes the Star. And with it, a deep exhale. This card arrives like rain after a long drought. It doesn't promise a perfect life, but it assures healing, a very specific kind. The kind that happens when you stop chasing and start trusting. When you release the lie that you must do more to be worthy, and instead simply allow your presence to be enough. One of your quiet wishes, the one you rarely say, eludes being heard. Not just heard, but honored. Everything here points to one unified message: you don't have to keep striving to become enough. You already are. This is the energetic pivot. This is the shift in frequency where things start flowing, not because you've done more, but because you've finally stopped resisting what's already yours. It reminds me of something I once heard in a sermon, whispered gently in a quiet church on a rainy afternoon. You don't have to chase what God has already called yours. That truth isn't only theological. It's energetic. It's universal. And it's precisely the truth that Libra is being invited to live now. So if you've been waiting for a sign that it's time to stop dimming your light, consider this it. You are not becoming, you are arriving. Let the stars guide you, let the cards affirm you, and above all, let yourself receive what's been waiting to meet you halfway all along. Sometimes the most precious forms of wealth can't be measured in numbers, counted in bank accounts, or displayed in material form. They move differently, quietly, with elegance, like the soft pulse of intuition you've always carried or the unshakable emotional wisdom that sets you apart. Libra, you've been taught to associate abundance with tangible gain, but what's unfolding for you now is a deeper kind of affluence. One that rises from the inside out. You are, in every way that matters, already rich. You just haven't realized the magnitude of your treasure yet. You've long held an intuitive intelligence that doesn't need to shout to be heard. Your presence shifts rooms, softens tempers, brings clarity where confusion once was. That ability to harmonize energy and connect with others on a soul level? That's not just personality. That's value. That's influence. And in the week ahead, as the cosmic alignments continue to support your evolution, a very specific kind of reward is being prepared, not as a surprise, but as a return. You're not lucky, Libra. You're ripe. Many of you will see this return show up in ways that seem ordinary at first glance. A project you once passed on might resurface with better timing. A payment you'd forgotten about may arrive at exactly the right moment. A person may approach you with an offer or opportunity that initially feels small but carries the potential to open long-closed doors. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations that your energy is finally matching your essence. That you're no longer chasing value from the outside, but recognizing it within, and life is responding in kind. Here's what's important to remember. Abundance often follows clarity. And clarity begins with identity. When you begin to affirm not just what you want, but who you are, the world reorders itself around that truth. That's why this shift matters so much. You're no longer asking, will I ever receive? You're beginning to say, I am ready to receive. And that subtle difference changes everything. Think of it like this: a farmer doesn't plant seeds and then beg the soil for fruit. They trust the process. They know that their effort, combined with faith in timing, produces harvest. The energy you've invested into your growth without applause, without witnesses, has been working underground. And now, the earth is about to give back. What you're experiencing isn't a miracle in the sense of random luck. It's divine justice. A quiet repayment for your resilience, your patience, your unseen sacrifices. This reminds me of a principle I often return to when doubt creeps in. God doesn't forget the labor done in love, even when no one else noticed. The same applies to you. Just because your giving was silent doesn't mean it went unnoticed. The universe has been keeping track. Not in a punitive way, but in a protective one. You've been preserved until the right moment, and now your value is being mirrored in the world around you. It's not something you need to reach for. It's something you're finally aligned to receive. If you're watching this, it's because you're entering a new relationship with value, your own. And as that alignment deepens, so too will the quality of opportunities around you. It may come in the form of money, yes. But it will also arrive through respect, invitations, collaborations, healing, and recognition. Your presence no longer goes unnoticed, Libra. And neither does your worth. So write it. Speak it. Declare it. I am a soul millionaire. I allow myself to receive. That sentence isn't just an affirmation. It's a gateway. And the moment you believe it, everything changes. There are rare moments in life when the veil between what is and what could be becomes so thin, you can almost feel the shift before it happens. Libra, December 21-22 is one of those sacred thresholds for you. It is not just a date on the calendar, it is a window, a cosmic portal for integration and initiation. You may not fully understand why you felt this strange anticipation, why your sleep feels lighter, why familiar numbers like 111 or 888 keep appearing, or why certain memories from your past suddenly resurface in dreams. But these are not random events. They are signals. Gentle nudges. Clues from the universe that your internal landscape is changing, and your external reality is about to reflect it. You might catch yourself staring out the window, heart racing, without any clear trigger. Or perhaps when you hear the word freedom or money, your body reacts as if it already knows that something big is on the horizon. These reactions are not meaningless, they are encoded in your soul's blueprint. The soul speaks through sensation when the mind is not yet ready to comprehend. So if something inside you feels like it's on the brink of becoming, trust that feeling. You are not being dramatic. You are being prepared. In numerology, 21 is the number of sacred completion of cycles that have come full circle, of wisdom that can no longer be unlearned. It represents maturity, readiness, a deep exhale before a new inhale. And 22. That's the master builder. The one who turns vision into form. The one who builds empires not from ego, but from alignment. And Libra, you are standing between these two frequencies. One foot in what has been, and the other in what is about to be constructed. You are not being rushed, but you are being invited. This is the initiation point. A moment in time that says, what you decide now will echo into the next 9 years. Astrologically, this window aligns with a soft shift in the skies that isn't explosive but cumulative. The quiet accumulation of your healing. The subtle stacking of the inner work you've done when no one was watching. This is why it doesn't feel loud. Because your soul has been building toward this in silence. And now, your timeline is beginning to catch up. Sometimes when divine timing intersects with personal readiness, we expect fireworks, but the truth is, it often begins with stillness. With a whisper. With a sensation of, I'm meant for something else. I just don't know what yet. That's the moment to stay present. Don't act impulsively. But also, don't dismiss the signs. You're not imagining them. You're recognizing them. Many people spend years asking for miracles but dismissing the signs that point to them. They wait for a dramatic breakthrough and ignore the whisper of breakthrough already underway. But you, Libra, are more attuned than most. Your awareness is your gift. You feel energy before it takes shape. So trust that what you feel now, this buzz in your field, this subtle inner pressurized not anxiety. It's arrival. And just like how seeds grow roots in the dark before ever breaking ground, you've been rooted deeply. Now the soil is soft enough for you to rise. And yes, your mind may want to analyze it. You may try to time it. But some moments don't need your logic, they need your faith. Not blind faith. Embodied faith. The kind that lives in your breath, your body, your posture, your choices. You don't need to decode every sign right now. You just need to respond with stillness, gratitude, and presence. So if this week brings you a strange dream, a conversation that lingers longer than it should, or an opportunity that feels oddly timed, pause. Don't rush. But don't dismiss it either. Sit with it. Let it speak to you. Because this window, this 2122 portal is not just happening to you. It's happening for you. A blessing doesn't always arrive wrapped. Sometimes, it arrives whispered. This is one of those times. You are not missing your moment. You are standing in the middle of it. When we speak of healing, many think of it as a grand act, one that requires a retreat, a spiritual revelation, or a dramatic release. But healing, especially for someone as energetically attuned as you, Libra, often happens in the quietest, most ordinary moments. The body remembers everything your mind has tried to forget. That ache in your neck, the subtle tension in your shoulders, the stiffness you carry without realizing it's not just physical. It's accumulated weight from years of holding space for others, of absorbing stress that was never yours to carry in the first place. You are the peacemaker in the zodiac, but peace at the cost of your well-being is no longer a price you should pay. This week, allow your body to lead the conversation. Reconnect through gentle, grounding rituals that don't require perfection, only presence. A slow morning walk under the softness of sunrise, feeling your bare feet meet the earth, is not just a poetic act. It's cellular recalibration. It's reminding your nervous system that safety can exist in stillness. You don't need to fix everything today. You just need to listen to what your body is trying to tell you. Financially, you may feel a strong urge to gain control, and that's a powerful place to start. But real wealth management isn't only about spreadsheets and saving. It's also about energy management. Ask yourself, why am I spending? Is it from lack, from loneliness, from a desire to fill something else entirely? Emotional spending wears the same mask as productivity. It looks like motion, but it leaves you drained. You don't need more things to feel more whole. What you need is space, mental, emotional, spiritual, for the abundance that's trying to reach you. Begin by honoring what you already have and choosing to spend consciously, not just financially, but energetically. In matters of the heart, Libra, your transformation is perhaps the most powerful. You are no longer the one who loves quietly, who gives endlessly without asking for reciprocity. You've outgrown that version of love, the one that asks you to shrink in order to be accepted. A new kind of relationship is forming on the horizon. One that doesn't arrive to heal your wounds but to grow something strong alongside you. You are not broken, and you don't need someone to rescue you. The love that is meant for you now comes with truth, clarity, and mutual elevation. Stay open, but don't settle. Trust what you feel more than what you hear. There's a verse that gently reminds us, I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full. That isn't about excess or performance. It's about wholeness. You weren't created to scrape by, not emotionally, not physically, not spiritually. You were meant to live in fullness. And that begins by choosing to believe you're worthy of more than just surviving the week. So give yourself permission today to reset gently. No radical overhaul. Just small acts of self-respect. Drink water before your body cries for it. Rest before burnout knocks. Say no without guilt. Say yes to what makes your soul exhale. This is self-help in its truest form, not a checklist, but a lifestyle shift. One that begins with the radical belief that you deserve to feel good in your own skin, in your own story, in your own timing. Let this be your reminder that healing is not a destination, it's a return. A return to self, to ease, to truth. And as you walk that path, remember, the universe is not asking you to earn your worth. It's asking you to recognize it. Dear Libra, there's something incredibly beautiful about the quiet strength you carry. You've held yourself together through seasons of waiting, through chapters no one else saw, through decisions that cost you more than you admitted. But even when the world didn't clap for you, the universe was watching. It took note of every time you chose grace when you could have chosen bitterness, every time you gave your best even when no one was giving back. And no finale, it's your turn to receive. Not because you begged for it. Not because you proved yourself worthy enough. But because you've always been worthy. You've just forgotten what that feels like. Until now. This moment, right here, is your invitation to remember. To choose. Because abundance, healing, love are theory, not rewards for those who've suffered most. They're frequencies. And the moment you decide you're ready to match that frequency, the shift begins. Quietly. Powerfully. Irrevocably. You don't have to keep sacrificing parts of yourself to be accepted. You don't have to carry guilt for wanting more peace, more freedom, more joy. And you definitely don't have to keep apologizing for needing time, space, or softness. You were not made to survive on emotional leftovers. You were created to thrive in divine alignment. So ask yourself, what if everything you've ever wanted is already on its way waiting for you to say yes to it? What would your life look like if you stopped overthinking and started trusting? What doors would open if you simply chose to believe, right now, that you're already walking the right path? This isn't just a horoscope reading, it's a mirror. A mirror held gently to your soul, so you can see the truth you've avoided for far too long. You are already enough. You've already earned it. You just need to allow it in. Take a deep breath, Libra. Not because it fixes everything, but because it reminds you that you're still here. Still standing. Still becoming. Now is the time to move forward, not from fear, but from faith. Not from lack, but from embodiment. Let this week be the one where you no longer wait for signs, you become the sign. I invite you, right now, to drop into the energy of receiving. If this message stirred something inside you, let it anchor. Write in the comments below, I am a soul millionaire. I am ready to receive the prosperity the universe has always held for me. Speak it. Claim it. And then live like it's already yours. If this message resonated with you, even just one sentence, I ask that you honor this space and your journey by subscribing to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. We are not just a channel. We are a soul family tuned into truth, aligned with destiny, and rooted in unconditional support. And please, share this video with someone who might be silently going through what you've just awakened from. Your light can ignite theirs. Remember, this Monday isn't just another date. It's a divine checkpoint. A moment that whispers, you've waited long enough. Now step forward. I am deeply honored to walk with you, even for a few minutes. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. And your story is far from over. You are rising. Quietly. Powerfully. As you always were meant to.